Hi guys, welcome back to another Three Amigos video, and in this video I want to share with you my top 10 Leica YouTube channels to follow in 2024. Now throughout my 10 years of photography experience, YouTube, just as like what you're watching now, has undoubtedly been one of the most important sources of knowledge and inspiration for me throughout my photographic journey. All of these channels have played a monumental role in my photographic journey, and I will share with you why you should follow them too. And in no particular order, let's start with number one. Number one is Matt Osborne, also known as Mr. Leica previously. Matt is a UK-based photographer who specializes in black and white portrait and model photography. And he also enjoys traveling with a mix of street and sort of architectural photography as well. Now, as his name suggests, Matt is a die-hard Leica fan who eats and breathes Leica. He shoots with multiple Leica digital and film systems, including the Leica M10 of late, the SL, as well as the Q sometimes, and he primarily focuses on gear reviews, as well as providing handy everyday tips and tricks for Leica users. Now, what I like about Matt is that although he's a die-hard Leica fan, he's not always bragging and glorifying the latest and greatest expensive Leica camera gear. In fact, he's someone who appears quite down to earth, and he actually reviews a lot of third-party equipment and lenses, which he's not afraid to compare head-to-head with his Leica. He's also a very real-world shooter. He tests his equipment extensively, and he's not someone who just relies on like MTF charts or brick walls for a week, but he offers you very real-life examples of why a lens may or may not be suitable for you. Number two is benjhaisch, who's a wedding photographer who's based in Washington, who focuses on documenting authentic moments and relationships between his couples. Now, I like to watch Benj because he's a rare minority of wedding photographers who chooses to use the Leica M system for wedding photography. The main focus of his videos are definitely on the more technical side of things, and unlike Matt, Benj reviews not just Leica gear but also Fuji, Sony, and various third-party camera brands, accessories, and applications. Now, he also has a huge affinity for film cameras, and he shoots with many of the great classics, which I enjoy myself, such as the Hasselblad, the M6, the Mamiya, just to name a few. Now, what I love about his video is it's a very sort of sit down and a relaxed approach, and listening to his videos is almost like a very relaxing podcast, and it's something I enjoy doing when I'm, like, for example, commuting on the train, or if I'm driving, I just play in the background. Not to mention that Benj is also a brilliant wedding photographer. I love his photos, the colors, and the presets that he uses, and I like how his style of photography is very documentary-like. It's very unobtrusive, and so if that's sort of what you're looking for, then be sure to check out Benj's channel. The third photographer I would recommend is Matt Day. If everyday documentary film photography is your style, then there's really no person better than Matt Day. Matt is a photographer based in Ohio, and he shoots primarily with the Leica M digital and film system. So what I love about Matt is how he comes across as a very minimalist photographer. He embodies the one camera, one lens guy with the 35 Sumilux, and he just seems to be able to make the most out of everything that he has. He's sort of the photographer the star photographer whom I aspire to become, because I myself am a big victim of gas, and Matt is quite the anti-gas, I would say, in this context. So Matt, I wouldn't say his videos, he's not the most technical guy around, but he has a very nice narrative tone. His photographic style and his technique portrays photography as sort of an adjunct to stories of everyday life, which is a message that resonates with me a lot, and it's also kind of why I bring my camera around every day in my bag everywhere that I go, because I want to try and sort of create that style as well. And One of the biggest inspirations I learned from my YouTube journey with him was the appreciation of hard print photo books. So for example, recently I've been getting a lot into like film photography books. Excuse the tissue as a bookmark, but just learning how to take a photo book in your hand and to appreciate the sort of beauty of a photo book. Because I think nowadays we spend a lot of time in front of our screens and our phones, but if we're into like film photography and things like that, there's nothing really beats a nice printed book. And this one, for example, is by a very famous Chinese/Hong Kong photographer by Hao Fan, and he has brilliant photos in black and white, which documents Hong Kong back in the 1950s and 60s. And this was a very beautiful birthday gift from a friend Sam. Thank you once again. So yeah, just being able to appreciate photo books is something that I've been trying to incorporate into my journey nowadays. The fourth photographer that I really enjoy listening to is Grainy Days. So Jason, he's primarily a film photographer has arguably one of the driest humors on YouTube. Now, Jason features a sort of vlog style narrative of his travels and sort of personal stories, and his film photos are almost like a visual storybook of the events in his life and his travels. To be very frank, I actually didn't really understand his humor at first, but over time, his monotone voice, his terrible jokes, and dry humor just slowly grows on you. And his narration is sort of the thing where you want to sort of play as a podcast in the background. And it's just, his humor is something that can actually light up your day if you've had a very long and terrible day. In terms of gear reviews, he mainly focuses on sort of like film stock, as well as trying out these weird and quirky cameras. And I would say he's definitely the least sort of technical guy amongst the group, but I think that's also why his channel appeals to many people, because he just makes photography seem something that's very easy to pick up. And so he's definitely one of the most unique content creators out there, and I definitely do enjoy watching his videos a lot. So be sure to check out Grainy Days' channel. Photographer number 5. None other than Alan Schaller himself. If you are into black and white photography, you need no further introduction to Alan. He's perhaps one of the most renowned modern day black and white Leica photographer. He's based in London and travels all around the world capturing amazing street photography in black and white. He shoots both digital and Leica M systems, and his photos and composition and his understanding of lighting is completely out of this world. The way he's able to see light, the way he captures negative space, the timing in his photos is amazing. And he's so inspirational in my photographic journey that we even tried to simulate his style during one of our photo walks recently. Check out this video. And he's quite new on the YouTube scene, but obviously you will know that he's always had a very strong presence on Instagram, and his YouTube videos take on a very unique style. It's very funny, it's educational. So if you're into learning more about street black and white photography, then Alan is definitely your guy. Photographer number 6 is the real Sir Robin. Robin Schminko. Sorry, I can't pronounce his name properly. He's a German-based photographer who specializes in street photography, and he mainly shoots with the Leica Q system, occasionally with the Leica M6. For me, what I enjoy about his videos is how he attaches a GoPro, which sort of gives you a first-person view of his shooting experience, which is really nice because it sort of shows you how he sees and captures the world. You definitely learn lots of little tips and tricks from how he shoots, especially when it comes to quick zone focusing as well as candid street moments. Another thing about his photos style, which is quite unique, is that he likes to sometimes attach this little on-camera or little off-camera flash, and it gives his photo this sort of 1970s vibes, where everybody just fired their flashes off their cameras. And so Robin's channel is very unique. I definitely learned how to learn more about street photography, to be less shy, and being able to nail focus faster was definitely quite helpful throughout my journey in street photography in the past 2 years. Photographer number 7 is whoschrischu. Chris is a documentary photographer living and working in Manhattan, New York. He shoots primarily with the Leica M digital and film cameras. His video encompasses an array of interesting subjects and are usually based on documentary projects that he works on, and it ranges anywhere from like Israeli-Palestinian protests or rappers in New York, for example. Over the years, his video style has definitely matured, and he has shifted more from sort of gear-oriented videos into more sort of storytelling documentary, which is really echoes with what he likes to shoot. So what I love about his photos and videos is sort of the variety of scenarios that he places himself in, and he uses the 35mm lens to sort of bring the viewer into the scenario. And I love how he's able to capture human emotions, and he's able to tell a story through his photos. Chris also loves to collaborate with various other photographers, and he has a very light sense of humor, along with his sort of more relaxed narrative style, makes his videos oddly attractive. And perhaps part of the Leica charm for me is in documentary photography. And although personally speaking, I don't do a lot of documentary photography, but as you all know, Leica has a very rich and strong history when it comes to this type of photography. And I guess as a sort of photographer, Chris is sort of the closest sort of Leica guy who sort of brings me back to that that sort of creative mentality when it comes to sort of photojournalism slash documentary. Photographer number 8 is Dave Herring. He's a Leica photographer based in California, and he shoots primarily with the Leica M system, as well as occasionally some sort of medium format cameras in film. He's sort of the relatively new kid on the block. His channel has only been around for about a year, but he's actually one of the quickest growing channels, and he's recently gone into YouTube full time, and he's a very, very active guy on YouTube. He releases videos every other day basically. And Dave's video is a mixture of sharing his creative philosophy, his Leica film and digital reviews, as well as a mix of sort of traveling into different parts of the United States. For me, what stands out a lot about his videos is his photo composition as well as color tones, and he's also a really, really good speaker, and I definitely do echo with a lot of the things that he talks about in terms of his creative philosophy. So definitely do check out Dave. He's definitely the next big sort of up and coming guy on YouTube, and I have a lot of respect for what he does. So keep up the good work, Dave. Photographer number 9 is Goughie. So Goughie is a photographer who's based in the UK, who shoots both with Leica and Fujifilm. And why I love his videos is because I think we both share a very similar style as well as appreciation for gear. So for example, I'm using the XH2S to record this video, and same as him when he does his travel documentaries. And he also uses a Leica M10, which is also the camera that I use primarily for travels and sort of everyday photography. Unlike most of the other channels, I don't think Goughie is a full-time photographer, so his approach is a lot more relaxed. He shoots mainly for fun and for sort of memories, so that sort of echoes with my mindset, since I'm not a professional photographer myself either. Goughie mainly shoots travel photography, and I think he's also part of the reason why I sort of switched to Leica for its versatility and its sort of portability. And so I think that's why I just really echo with his approach to photography. Do check out his Instagram. He does have a lot of very nice travel photography photos, and his photos are very dramatic, contrasty, and have a very modern sort of punch in terms of colors. Now, photographer number 10, Thorsten Overgaard, the Danish photographer. He's one of the OG Leica photographers on YouTube, shooting primarily with the Leica M and the Leica Q systems. This guy has been around forever. He's accumulated years and years of experience, and he's just one of those guys which you just love to sit down and it's like hearing your dad talk about photography and share about his experiences. He shot with various cameras, including the M9, 240, M10, M11, which sort of explains why I've been shuffling through those cameras as well. And actually, I base a lot of my purchasing decisions based on his reviews and around what he said. I love how he goes into so much depth into his Leica reviews and his camera systems, and he really goes into a lot of detail, highlighting the difference between each camera, explaining whether or not this camera is for you or not for you. He also shares a lot about his sort of photography philosophy and offers a lot of video tutorials on how to improve your photography. Not to mention, do check out his website. It has an array of Leica reviews and camera gears, and he also has a free ebook, and which talks a lot about sort of light and photography, which is essentially what photography is all about. So I have one bonus channel for you guys. Since I've introduced so many sort of Leica-centric channels, the last channel I want to introduce is not actually a Leica or Leica photography channel in one way or another. So based on our YouTube analytics, I noticed that a lot of our viewers are from the Europe or from the States. Thank you guys for supporting us. And so I actually wanted to introduce a sort of Chinese channel to you guys. Although Lynx is a Chinese photographer slash videographer, he's some guy who I've followed over the years, and although his videos are in Chinese, but actually there's English captions. He does amazing gear reviews, mainly circling around travel photography, and it's one of those things where like those videos where you want to sort of watch before your bedtime, and it's just leaves you feeling really, really good after the video. So do check out Lynx. His videos are amazing. He really takes the time to dive into the history of the brand and the camera, and his photos are amazing as well. And the place that he goes to like almost automatically make their way to my bucket list. And I'm aspiring to hopefully travel the way that he does as well. And his narrative journey and style is absolutely mind-blowing. So definitely do check out Lynx TV. Last but not least, channel number 12, which you guys should follow, is definitely Three Amigos. Although Junior and I are in the world of YouTube, we're new, but we're really trying really hard to bring you high quality photo and video content. And despite our full-time jobs, your support means the world to us, and we're excited to share more and more content with you guys. So let us know in the comments below which videos or which channels do you guys like to follow when it comes to Leica, and let us know down in the comments below, as well as let us know what sort of videos you guys would like to see, and we look forward to sharing more with you. In the meantime, it's Chinese New Year in Hong Kong, so wishing all of you a very, very happy Chinese New Year, and hope that all of you will continue to create great photos and be prosperous for many, many more years to come. Until next time.